and Susanna present Little Newsies.
Hey you, are you 5? I am, baby. My name is Bram.
And I'm Jake, Bram's dad, but some people call me BoxerBlu. Blah! And here is the news.
Hey Dad, I've got the best friends in the world. They're so cool.
Bram, I don't really know what you're talking about. Hi everybody. Today's June 8th. It's National Best Friends Day.
Yeah, I think it's actually Best Friend Day. Yeah, having best friends is really cool. I have a best friend. His name is Banana.
I don't really know what you're talking about, Bram. You can't really have a best friend who's a banana.
No, I know, but sometimes I talk to a banana because it's kind of fun.
Boys and girls, having a friend is really important. What I always say to my son is, in order to make friends, you've got to be a friend. So first, be a good friend, and then you can, of course, you can make friends.
Yes, that's very true. So you didn't know this? We're in Ocean City, Maryland right now. It's probably the worst time in the world to go to Ocean City.
Yes, it's raining. It's not the best weather, We walked on the boardwalk a little bit, but it was not so pleasant. So, how do you like the show Cabaret, Bram?
Cabaret? That's definitely, that's Liza Minnelli stuff, like Arrested Development.
No. I want to talk about the theater. This is an article all about reanimating theater and how that's happening at the Billy Rose Theater Division of the New York Public Library. Basically, when Cabaret, it's a musical about the Weimar Republic. It's not so important. But when this musical came out in the 1960s, they took lots of pictures, right? Over 3,000 pictures of this show. And so, as a former thespian myself, when you do a show, basically, it's over, right?
Yes, but what they did is they took all these pictures and now they're reanimating it.
That's right. So basically, director Hal Prince, he had all these interesting shots and people involved. The 1966 Kit Kat Club and all those things went on, again, 3,694 shots. And now they can make GIFs or GIFs or whatever you want to call it.
Yes, it's so amazing. So basically, if you go to the show, you can see like choreography that hasn't died.
Yeah, so the idea is that choreography as well, it's preserved, and there's a really great quote from the writer of this article in the New York Times. It says, "Theater is and will always be strange," and I love that. Douche.
So now this is like a really sad story. I don't like talking about this at all, but I don't know if you know this, but the U.S. government actually made some horses die.
Bram, this is a children's show. We don't want to talk about horses dying.
No, I know, but it's so sad. So we've got to talk about this a little bit, right? So the Bureau of Land Management.
Oh, the Bureau of Land Management, yes. So they had this adoption incentive program, right? Basically, there are too many wild horses and wild donkeys and things like that.
Wild donkeys?
Yes, or burros, or whatever you want to call it. There are too many of these animals that live. A long time ago, there were way too many. There were millions of them, right? So, I don't know, the early 20th century, there were 20 million or something like that. There were millions, and then it gradually died down to, because they were basically hunted for dog food and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, dog food, that's gross.
Yes. But now the problem is that there are too many wild horses. And the federal government, they had this idea. It sounded really good. It was the Adoption Incentive Program, right? They started it 2 years ago. Basically, they said, we will give $1,000 to anybody who will adopt a wild horse.
A wild horse is like Assateague Island, right? Like Chickateague, like that's like near Ocean City.
Yes, but let's say you're so anyway, the New York Times article started off with this guy named Gary Kidd, this older gentleman, 73-year-old guy, who basically said, yes, I've adopted these animals because I want to take care of them, and I'm gradually going to raise colts and all of this stuff like that.
Did he really do that?
No, he actually got them killed.
What?
Yes, so many people, even though, of course, several thousands were actually doing the right thing, they were adopting these wild horses, many of these people adopting the animals to save them were not saving them at all.
Oh my gosh.
They basically were taking them to kill buyers to have them killed. That's
really sad.
Yes, so the American Wild Horse Campaign is looking into that. But to be quite frank, it's a very complicated thing because this bureau doesn't have all the money. If nothing was done with the wild horses, they would increase. They would get bigger. There'd be 20% more of them. What? Yes, every year they would a lot more. They'd make a lot of babies. They'd be coming up. Lots of horses. And so you got to do something. But what do we do? That's a good question. I don't know. Douche.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
We talk about conspiracy theories a lot. Well, why is that?
Well, I think conspiracy theories are just really weird, aren't they?
Yes, but are they right for little kids to talk about?
Well, I mean, Bigfoot, right? That's definitely a conspiracy theory that you know about, right?
Yes, but it's real. I know Bigfoot's real. I'm positive. Loch Ness Monster, that's real too. And the Mattress Firm stores in Illinois, that's real too.
What's that one?
Oh, well, it's all about the mafia.
Let's talk about that. So boys and girls, we do talk about conspiracy theories sometimes. I think it's something that happens in America or in the world, and it's a little weird. People are believing in things that there's no real evidence for. And so recently this happened on Jeopardy.
Oh, yes, Jeopardy. I love Jeopardy.
Yeah, so, I don't know, maybe a month ago or so, there's an article about this man named Kelly Donahue, how he gave the 3 sign.
What? What's the 3 sign?
Oh, the 3 sign. So basically, there's a group of people called white supremacists, right? And they believe white people are the best. And the 3%. And it's some crazy story, but a long time ago, when the British controlled America, supposedly only 3% of the people stood up against the royalty.
What?
Yes, it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, that's what white supremacists believe. And so there was this man, Kelly Donahue, on Jeopardy, and basically he won. He won $80,000 or so. He won once, he won twice, and every time he put his finger out. And the third time he put his finger out like this or something like that. And somehow white supremacists, Ku Klux Klan, something. Maybe they're trying to reclaim the OK symbol. I have no idea. But about 50 people on Twitter tweeted it right away, and they said, Jeopardy producers, what are you doing? This is terrible. How can you have a white supremacist on Jeopardy? And the man, Kelly Donahue, he was once wearing a red Donald Trump MAGA hat.
Ooh, so that's it right there. So it's real. So yes, he was a white supremacist.
That's exactly the point, Bram. It's not real at all. That's not what happened at all. There was no white supremacy. There was no conspiracy or anything. He simply was holding the number 3 up, but it got blown out of proportion. People were writing letters. They wrote the Anti-defamation League, and they basically said, this isn't right. We can't stand for hate. This man's a Ku Klux Klan person. Look, he has a red MAGA hat, and he's 3. But the man simply replied, I just put up 3 because, well, it's just, I won 3 times.
And yes, and so Snopes.com, if you ever heard of Snopes.com, it's great. Snopes.com actually looks into all these things, and yes, as it turns out, there's no real evidence that this man was doing anything other than saying, I won 3 times.
Douche. So sometimes, boys and girls,
I think you're talking too much. I think I should be talking now.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
So sometimes we talk about things that are like a little bit, a little risque, right? Like we talked about Cabaret today. That's weird, right? We talked about, white supremacists.
Yes.
And so today we're talking about something that's a little hard to explain, but basically there's, big candy companies, right? Like W.M. Wrigley Jr., right? They're part of like Mars that makes M&M's and stuff like that.
Yes.
So they're mad because people are copying their designs to sell something that's not legal.
Oh.
Yes. So if your parents know about Cheech and Chong, right? Those guys who they smoked this thing. Now that's legal, like in America in many places, and so these companies, like instead of selling Skittles, there's something that looks just like Skittles, but it actually could make you very, very sick, and it's something called THC, which can hurt your body. So, for example, in the year 2020, just last year, there were 122 cases of people who got sick. The kids, 5-year-olds or younger, and they were vomiting or they felt really tired, they had chest pains. And so the National Confectioners Association, they're getting really angry about this thing happening.
Oh, yes.
So these companies, they're suing because basically these companies are, not only copying their logo and their designs like that, but they're giving something dangerous to kids.
It's kind of like in the 1960s when the Flintstones sold cigarettes.
What?
Yes. So in the 1960s, there's a very famous commercial. The Flintstones are just chilling out. Barney and Fred are just basically, they have a pack of Winston cigarettes.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, so, if you say that it says candy or something like that, even spelled Kandie or whatever, and it's not what you think it is, if not Skittles, don't buy it.
Douche. So boys and girls, the last thing we're talking about is magic. Bram and I watched this documentary a while ago. It was really, really cool. It was called Dealt.
Oh, yeah, that guy is, blind and he's dealing cards all the time.
Yeah, so he's basically constantly, playing with cards. So anyway, so I like learning about these things, and so there was an article recently. It was all about this magician. He's in his 70s or so. His name is David Berglas, and he can do a trick that nobody can quite explain it.
Yes, and so basically the magicians, what they do a trick. It's called ACAAN, right? It means any card at any number. So basically it works like this. Like you say, okay, pick a card, any cards. I'm going to say, okay, I want the 3 of clubs.
And the magician says something like, okay, pick a number, like where in the deck? 43. Okay. And then the trick is, the magician, he finds the card. Like that. It's magic. So in every case, every magician, they can be amazing, but the magician always touches the cards.
Yes, except for David Berglas. He doesn't do that, so no one knows how he does it.
Oh, well, it's not exactly true, Bram. Some people actually say that there's a stooge in the audience.
A stooge? Like the Three Stooges?
No, like you have somebody, a confidant in the audience, a shill, a person who's just kind of there acting like he's in the audience.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's crazy. This David Berglas guy, he's made pianos disappear. It's crazy. They've done these tricks since the 1700s, but he's still doing it and no one knows how. It's amazing. Well, everybody, we are out of time. I want to thank you so much for this special episode of LittleNewsEars.com. We're here in Ocean City, and it's pretty fun. We're going to try to go on the zipper tomorrow.
Bram, there's no zipper. Basically, it's all rain everywhere. It's terrible weather.
Yes, but it's pretty cool, right? Thanks for listening to Little News Ears. I love you, Dad.
I love you too, Bram. We need to go back in the pool again tomorrow. It's been really fun.
Yeah, so I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Do you want this week's news? Go to LittleNewsEars.com.
Don't forget to check out our videos on YouTube.com and our teacher lesson plans and more on LittleNewsEars.com. May your sweetness shine.
And your colors glow. Blah. Sources for today's program include the New York Times,